Hello everyone, this is Dr. Wang from Weber State. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to practice Opus 10 number 7, Chopin Etude. And this etude has a nickname, toccata. I can understand why, right? Because of the right hand repeated pattern. But if we really consider this a toccata, there are many aspects of the typical types of toccata that this piece doesn't have. If we compare the toccatas by Schumann, Khachaturian, or Prokofiev, first of all, usually the toccata, the repeated pattern are participated by both hands, right? But in this piece, it's right hand alone. And another characteristic of toccata by the other composer is that it's always brilliant, right? It's very loud, bombastic almost, right? To touch, right? It's a technical showpiece. But in this piece, it's vivace, but most of the time it's leggero, it's cute, it's light, it's lively. So it's not in the stereotype toccata mood. I think there are a couple of reasons this piece is probably one of the harder ones in this set. First of all, we have to divide our hands into two halves, right? First and second finger playing that repeated pattern, but very, very quietly, because we need to voice the intervals, the thirds and sixths, right? We need to voice the top one, not the middle one or the lower one. And then 3, 4, and 5, they do the dirtier work. They need to not only to show the melody, they need to stretch a little bit more, right? It's not in a comfortable zone like the first and second finger. In the exercise edition of Koto, he mentioned that we should practice 1, 2, 1, 2. I think that's not necessary, because if you have trouble practicing repeated pattern, only 2-note repeated pattern with second and first finger, you should not learn this piece. I think the real hard challenge is to remember the stretched position of 3, 5, and sometimes 4, 5. So I would practice with holding the first note of each 2-note group. I have to remember the position, I have to remember the wrist angle, I have to remember how much my wrists move in order to reach the next note. So I would, if I'm beginning to learn this piece, I would spend probably the first week only practice the top line with the first note held. Because once you add the lower 2 notes, the 2, 3 is comfortable, the 1, 5 is also comfortable. So if you can find the top, you can find the lower ones. And this piece has a very, very, how do I put this, a standard phrasing structure. It's 8 plus 8, or we can say 4 times 4. And so usually in these types of phrasing, there is a however, there is a something different from measure 17. And in this case, measure 17 Chopin marked delicate. It's a very subtle change. I think it's to change from the horizontal melody, the singing quality of the left hand, to something almost dance-like. And then suddenly a little minor. And in this similar patterns we see in Opus 10 number 5. The most important thing when we have octave going up is to not accent the first note, especially when you're traveling from the upper register. That will be very bad taste. And when we play this in tempo, it requires us to get back to the position a little bit quicker so we don't hit the piano keys. Okay, most of the time in this piece you have two voices singing at the same time, right? One is left hand and the other one is right hand. And most of the time they sing in a similar kind of undulation. But here, suddenly in measure 26, the left hand stopped, right? It stopped on a pedal point in the dominant. I would watch my pedal here, very, very minimal pedal because my left hand has this strong pedal point. And suddenly, in the tenor range, left hand start this long singing melody. With this and then harmonic acceleration. And then we are back to the beginning theme. And we're transitioning to the coda in from measure 40, and that's another harmonic acceleration. And here we have three voices, right? Three voices for the first time. One is the right hand. And then the other is, of course, the bass and then middle voice. And it repeats twice, so I think we have a room maybe to do something interesting. Maybe one time we emphasize the right hand. And then left hand, the middle voice. And then suddenly. And when we see a lot of accidentals, right? F sharp, E flat, A flat, C sharp, and in the right hand too. When we see a lot of accidentals, it means that harmonically speaking is very intense. So I think this is like one of the most intense. It's towards the end. So we should, instead of having not a lot of involvement of the arm, right, from the beginning, the hand weight is enough to handle it. And especially here when it stands, like I would probably literally lift my wrist a little higher so that it's not very deep. But here, on the contrary to all that, this is so you have it all in this piece. You have the light, you have the heavy, you have something in the middle. And interestingly enough, before this glorious C major broken chord, Chopin rarely put, how do I put this, regular accented downbeats. But here, I think he prepares us for that very last C major chord by adding a downbeat to every three beats, right? So. So almost like this is the last call, the last march before we leave this piece, right? And here it's quite tricky. I mean, I never saw C major chords would be this tricky because it changes position from first inversion, second inversion, root position, and we all know first inversion, second inversion, it's a sixth, right, between the second finger and the fifth finger. But then the root position is the fifth. So, which means in this very rapid passage, we have to think of changing the distance between the second and the fifth finger every 3 notes. At the beginning, I was actually aiming for my second finger, but that didn't end up well, because if I make a mistake, I will go to A minor. So finally, I've decided, and I think it's a better solution to aim for my pinky, so that I would always have this fixed octave position. Only here, when I go from G to C, I remind my second finger to go a little bit further than thirds, so trebles of fourths. And of course, to have the fingers very close to the key is also important. Okay, somehow this piece is not very regularly played, right? I've never heard actually a lot of, not any of my students wanted to learn this. However, I think this is a very, very good exercise, musically, both musically and technically. It's important to remember that when we play something fast, we don't always play it fast and loud, right? This is a great exercise for us to achieve this velocity of finger movements while we do a very soft, very delicate, and very leggero playing. And of course, on top of all that, there is the interval, there is the voicing within one hand. I think all of these are great qualities of pianistic ability that all students need to develop. Next week, I'm going to perform and teach you how to do Opus 10 number 8, nicknamed Sunshine, one of the happiest piece Chopin ever wrote. I don't think there is a slight sentimental or slight sadness in this piece. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week.